Fellow libertarians, this is Arvin Vohra, Vice Chair of the Libertarian National Committee, and I'm going to discuss today some of the comments that I earlier posted at MeWe.com. First, let me say this: the comments that I posted, it was a joke. It was in poor taste. I apologize for the comments. Obviously, I don't actually think that people should go around shooting up school boards. It was a joke. I'm sorry. But the fundamental underlying issue, there is an underlying issue that I find very, very troubling. Responding to a joke about violence that's maybe in poor taste, that's perfectly fine. It's good to respond. It's good to keep your leaders in check. If you feel that the leaders of your party or of your movement are saying things that you don't agree with, that you don't feel represent the libertarian cause accurately, it's good to respond to that. And I'm glad that people do that. I'm glad we're in a party that cares so much that when somebody posts something that they feel is wrong, they are very quick to follow up on that. But I do want to talk about violence in general. I want to talk about the acceptance of violence, in our movement today, the acceptance of violence within the libertarian movement. And don't worry, I see a lot of you guys have questions. I'll take questions and answers after I get some of these ideas out. There is a huge difference, a huge moral difference between a joke about violence, which is maybe in poor taste, and the actual support of violence, which is not only in poor taste, but is morally abhorrent. Listen, I don't really think anyone should go around shooting up a school board. It's a stupid joke. Sorry about the joke. But what I am more troubled by is the fact that today, in this libertarian party, at the center, the linchpin of the liberty movement, we have so many people who are perfectly okay with government schools and other welfare state programs that are funded by violence. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to say, well, there's no violence involved. Yes, there is. What exactly do you think happens if you refuse to pay for somebody else's genetic offspring? What happens if you say, I don't want to pay for government schools? What if you say, that's not my kid and it's not my responsibility? What happens? Do they just say, oh, sorry about troubling you? No. They're going to respond with some kind of violence. That is theft that is being backed up with a threat of violence. To use an unpleasant analogy, suppose that somebody is being sexually assaulted at gunpoint. Even if the gun holder does not shoot the person, it is still absolutely an act of violence. No one would ever say that that is not an act of violence. No one's going to say that that is not an infringement on their fundamental rights. The same is true with government schools. If you don't pay, you're going to face some violence. And the fact that today we have people in the Libertarian Party, we have leaders in the Libertarian Party, we have candidates in the Libertarian Party, we have elected officials in the Libertarian Party that will either refuse to speak out against government schools or actively speak in favor of government schools, who will say that government schools are okay because they're popular, as if more violence is somehow better than less violence. That, to me, is a big, huge problem. The actual support of actual violence is a big problem in our movement right now. Many people have asked, why am I speaking out? Why am I running for vice chair? Why am I doing all these things? There is a sickness in our movement. And that sickness is the support of violence, is a support of violence. It is a support of a welfare state that is backed up by violence. We cannot be supporting that. It's not libertarian, it's not minarchist, it's not anarchist. There is no form of freedom that says, yes, it is okay to steal from somebody else through a threat of force, that's what taxes are, in order to do something that you like. Now, right now, I see there's probably some questions coming in. If you guys have questions, feel free to post them. I'll answer them live right now. Don't really see any exact questions coming in. I will come by feeling a bunch of. All right, so I'm not seeing a lot of questions. I'm seeing a lot of commentaries. So that is my statement on this issue. It's a joke. I'm sorry for the joke. Actual support of actual violence, though, is no joke. government schools are violence. There is no possible way to have a libertarian movement, either minarchist or anarchist, that supports government schools. If you have questions, post them on here. I'll try to answer them, in the next few days. And until then, happy Easter.